Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I am happy that one more time I got the opportunity to be the dear brothers and sisters of Ahlul Bayt Islamic Society of New England and Zirk MIT Shia Muslim Association. With the prayer that our prayers and fastings be accepted in the month of Ramadan. Today, as you know, is the 24th of Ramadan and 24th of March. As Dr. Musalla said, this lecture series is generally titled From Deviation to Rectification. Last lecture, we just looked at the Quranic verses, which maybe somewhat have bearing some implication on the issue of succession. The one class we didn't discuss is specifically the inheritance, which could be important because the ancient times. Actually, maybe I explain. Let me go just recite the verse and then do the explanation. I forgot to do that. So for the kind of the blessing and stuff is we start usually the lecture with the Quranic verse. So أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإذ ابتلى إبراهيم ربه بكلمات فأتمهن قال إني جاعل لكم الناس إماما قال ومن ذريتي قال لا ينال عهدي الظالمين. And when his Lord tested Abraham with certain words and he fulfilled them, he said, I'm making you the Imam of mankind. Said he, and from among my descendants, he said, my pledge does not extend to the unjust. As we said, this is important verse related to our topic because in one sense, the prayer of Abraham is accepted and Imama is placed in his Zuriyahu and his descendants, but not all of them for this, but just being a descendant of Abraham is not enough. The covenant of God or the pledge doesn't reach the unjust. As we would say, this is the title of the whole lecture series, and then the lectures were divided in 4 lectures, and then the last one was Quranic on the succession of previous prophets. We saw there are 3 categories of relevant. One is the verses of regarding inheritance, because in ancient times, really succession in a kingdom or rulership usually was hereditary, and look at its inheritance. You know, among the inheritance, the king leaves for the next on the line is also the land he's ruling. The other one we were seeing the injunctions in the Quran regarding the duties, respects, love of the family, own family. And the third test was the issue regarding the prophets, the succession of them, either in the issue of prophethood or other aspects in the life of the relation of prophets in the families, and the prayers regarding the families, like the one we saw. And then between Israelites, we saw the examples starting from Noah to Jesus. Non-Israelite prophets like Saleh and Hud, although we didn't, Shuaib, we didn't discuss that as more detail. And some discussion again in the Quran regarding Prophet Muhammad and his family and love and respect and the other options, other things related to them in the Quran. And then the important thing we said, the conclusion of Professor Matlung was, look, it seems in the Quran there is a special trends, all the prophets' prayer, somehow the authority they have also reached to their children, to the family. The family usually their most line of support, even the case of Nuh or Lut, although some member of family were punished, but the majority of the family were the great helpers. And the conclusion is that the prophet couldn't anticipate less than that. And our argument was that if was by according to Quranic injunctions or the traditional custom of tribal, the rulership would reach to one close immediate family of the prophet, one from Bani Hashim, most probably Imam Ali, because it was, or maybe Abbas. But Abbas, even he wasn't converted very late. He didn't have any rule in the jihads or other events in Medina or before that. So, and then wasn't son-in-law, and the grandchildren of the Prophet wasn't from him. So Imam Ali, by natural tribal custom, if was followed, Imam Ali would be chosen. And this is a line of argument we said Zaydis have adopted. Some of them, they don't push on the line of Qadir or interpreted Qadir similar to the Ahl Sunnah, and the reason is that they somehow want to keep the first two caliphs legitimate. Historically, all the Zaydis are usually more revolutionary, but regarding the respect to view of the two first caliphs, the Shia, Imamiyya, and other branch of Shia were more rejecting or critical to first two caliphs, and that's the word rafs come from this view that they do not accept the legitimacy of the first two caliphs. The Zaydis go the middle ground in this part. They somewhat accepted the legitimacy of the two. For doing that, they have to absolve them, so they have downplaying the Ghadir. But from the other side, to remain Shi'i, they claim that if you follow Quran or other customs, should be Imam Ali. But that was the introductory part. Now we want to really go to the historical part. Um, I still follow the line of Professor Madelung, but then here again we are using mostly sources which is accepted by Ahl Sunnah too. But I think there is a room to a little bit expand it too. I'm not sure we can do today, but next lecture tomorrow may have a little bit more space. So maybe I add something to what I say today and tomorrow, or what is happen after the Saqifa, because essentially lecture 3 is somewhat related to Imam Ali during the three first caliphs, the reign of the first three caliphs. So let's go to the even Saqifa because to save the time, and then we can go if we have more extra time, we can expand on it. Look, what an interesting thing is that again, I have to add that remember there are three outlook to what is the succession was. The main dominant view in Sunni, especially the elite educated scholars, is that a prophet did not specify any specific successor. Neither prophet nor in the Quran a specific person was chosen. Even there is no injunctions over there in this regard, and left open, which is very surprising. It never happens. All governments, and especially somebody like prophet, you care about his mission, and especially Islam, which is there is not much separation about uh, church and mosque, or politics and religion, or mosque and the state, and the government was very just young. This not thinking about this when you're dying, prophet is known as dying, is really carelessness. This is the argument she has used, but that's the claim, and then that's the line Oman has adopted, and we'll see today. Nobody, and then the whole no plan was there, nobody was designated, and this selection of Abu Bakr was accident. But there is another line which Aisha kind of was the early promoter and is now popular in the streets or common people in the Sunni, especially Salafi groups, that no, Prophet chose a successor, but successor was Abu Bakr. And why? Because maybe he did lead the prayer when the time Prophet was sick. But then the other line is that okay, no, the successor was chosen was specifically Imam Ali, it was the Ghadir and other occasions. And that prayer of Abu Bakr wasn't even certain happened and wasn't important. And we have many, many examples, other companions who leading the prayer. For example, one example was last lecture was among the examples, or no, other context aside, Mu'az ibn Jabal, which is one of the close, again, associates with Abu Bakr, Umar, close friendship with them and get position, commandership after this period. One time, for example, he was imam, and then he used to, he's a little bit odd guy, I mean, in every aspects of him. And then he was the imam, and he liked to recite Baqarah, Surah Al-Baqarah, along with Surah Quran for as a prayer, one rakah. So you have to wait more than one juz be recited for one rakah. I mean, you have half an hour or more than half an hour, maybe 1 hour you're waiting to the one rakah finishes. And then the people in Medina complained, this is real. And look, and then actually the one who quoted was not for this part, for this second part, that the people of Medina complained, okay, look, we are working agriculture from the morning to the down to dusk. We don't have irrigation channels. We have to carry water with our camels. We are very tired. And then we come to the prayer. This guy is doing this. We cannot. It's too hard for us. So then the Prophet said, okay, change it. Maybe although is not the one mosque at the, because we have different mosques, already. We had Quba or other mosques built beside the central mosque. So I'm saying this wasn't not necessary. Okay, let's not digress, go to the main idea, but then and then we'll see part of the story of Saqifa, the arguments. Also, we see the theories they have regarding who should be ruling and what the situation is. So, as I said, the third theory was the Shia, which is there was a designated one, and the designation is not necessary because the kinship is the virtue or knowledge and characteristic of Imam Ali, but also we said these virtues, characteristic knowledge has some develops maybe better, both in the aspects of nature of it, the hereditary part of it, the good gene part of it, and nurture. Because as we give the example of Nahj Balagh, Imam Ali was raised with the Prophet Muhammad, always was with the Prophet Muhammad. So all is affecting it together. So the fact he's the best is coming also because is also a close kin of the Prophet. Now, the fundamental account of the assembly of Saqifa is narrated with from Ibn Abbas, Abd Allah ibn Abbas, uh, effectively the cousin of Imam Ali, the cousin of Prophet. Abbas was the uncle of Prophet, and then Abdullah Abbas was very young. As we will see, he was born 3 years before Hijrah, so it was young, relatively young, or 3 years after Hijrah. Let's look at it as we have it here, and and the story is very interesting. This is the main narration, maybe outside Shia texts, outside the specific Shia texts, and then there are other reports, but somehow maybe they're influenced by it or the combined. People say other reports, other are different versions of this or somehow influenced by this. As he said, slightly variant versions with different chains of transmission are provided by Ibn Hisham, which wrote the Sira, a Prophet, al-Tabari, al-Razzaq, Hammam, Bukhari, and Ibn Hanbal. So it's also go to Hadith books of Sunni. So this is what we say is history, but also in Hadith books, so it's authentic, at least from their perspective. And okay, we have discussion about Sira. All of them end up to Zuhri. It's okay, long story, but it's a important character of the Sunni Hadith and Fiqh. He and the son of one of the sons of the Zubayr are the founder of Urwat ibn Zubayr are the founder of Sunni Hadith and Sirah. But how Zuhri heard it from Ibn Abbas, it seems from this line, Ubaydullah ibn Abdullah ibn Utbah ibn Mas'ud. So the narrator is Ibn Abbas. And then they say the account, which is this narration, which is associated with the Abbas, matches with his view, matches all. I mean, so it's accepted. There is no, Madalong said, there is no reason to doubt the reliability of the chain of transmitters and the whole what is narrated much. Now, the interesting thing is that this is a flashback here. So Ibn Abbas narrates that in the occasion of the last pilgrimage. So I'm saying this is the narration Sunnis accept as the historic books, Sunni books, because Shia could be different. I haven't used that for now, just to be common. So Ibn Abbas narrated that the occasion of the last pilgrimage led by Caliph Omar, which is al-Hijja 23, October 1644. So it's Prophet passed away on Safar of 11 Hijrah. So this is 12 years after. So it's the last year of the Umar Caliphate. So this is also his last pilgrimage. So soon after this, he will be killed. And it could be 3 weeks. I vaguely remember it's 3 weeks after this khutbah, because it's not only his last pilgrimage, it's among his last khutbahs too. But maybe I'm a little bit off, but yeah, it's the because we have Zulqa'dah, al-Hijja. Yeah, he's really the last few weeks after this, he's killed by Abu Dawud. And what is the story is they're at the pilgrimage, and then Abu Abbas is in a campsite, he's a young man, and then in the tent in Mina, he's with Abd Rahman Auf, which other famous companion, and the one which also later in the Shura Hakimiyya, which Omar puts to decide who will decide the next caliph, which Osman was elected, Imam Ali was part of it. Abdul Rahman is there too. And it shows this clearly shows now the close friendship between Omar and, which again is few weeks after this, that Shura was established. Abdul Rahman Auf and Imam Ali, the very close association and friendship with him, because you see this is clear and confident. And then it seems Ibn Abbas with Abdul Rahman Auf are in the tent, and then it's the Matlung understanding is that Ibn Abbas is helping Abdul Rahman Uf to do recitation of Quran. This a little bit seems for me strange, because it says Uqra'uhu Quran. It could be Ibn Abbas is reciting Quran. He's younger guy, very younger guy. I don't think he's more than 15 years old or something like that, and or something like that, reciting with Abdul Rahman, checking him. But doesn't matter. They're practicing Quran. I mean, one is doing for the other one. Doesn't matter, but Abdul Rahman is older man. And remember, Abdul Rahman is the guy get the veto power, and that's 6-person council. So after Omar is assassinated, before dying, he make a Shura council to decide the next leader. He puts 6 people in it. Imam Ali Talha and Zubair, Abdul Rahman Uf, and then Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas and Osman. And then it gets, if it's tie, is 3 and 3 tie. The breaking of the tie is with Abdurrahman Auf, which Imam Ali from the beginning know that this is the way it's set. The members and the veto power control to Abdurrahman Auf, who will be elected, Osman will be elected, because Abdurrahman Auf is family relationship with Osman. So it's just gives an appearance a Shura is set, but the outcome was there. And then we would see kind of, look, this the same narration we see kind of shows some of the dynamics, which it shows, as I will explain the dynamics. These 12 years has passed. So what we are telling is 12 years after Saqifa. You should remember Saqifa happened 11th of Hijrah, around Safar or maybe early Rabiul Awwal, 11th after Hijrah. This is 2010. Now they're doing the recitation of Quran. Then Abdul Rahman says to him that he saw that Abdul Rahman say somebody come and tell Omar that what is, so see Abdul Rahman telling Ibn Abbas, I said this story. And what is the story? Somebody come and tell Omar, okay, what is your opinion of the person which says this? And what is this says? What are you going to do about a man who says, by God, if Omar ibn Khattab were to die, I would swear allegiance to so and so falan. Okay, so somebody come tell Omar, also that somebody else I heard during Hajj is saying, if Omar passes away, after Omar, we only bay'ah to one person. They don't mention the
Dr.
name, but
Ghoddoussi, you have not stopped sharing, right?
no. So you don't see it?
No, can you share it again?
Okay, maybe I didn't do the screen. Oh, so you didn't see all the slides this time. I'm sorry.
Well, it was okay in the beginning, but
Okay, so maybe something. Yeah, you see it again now?
yes.
Okay, so look, what is happening is this. They don't mentioning. This is some feature of censoring the names. So the one which this person claims I would swear allegiance is definitely Imam Ali. We'll see that. So look, some people during Hajj start to talk after Omar, we only bay'ah with Ali. And then one guy takes the report to Omar, and then Abdul Rahman see that this discussion and telling Ibn Abbas this happened today. And then you have to see what is happening, the balance of power. I mean, some people say this person may be Ammar Yasser, or next lecture we will see maybe one of those close circle of the Imam Ali, which looked at Imam Ali not just as a political leader, but as a religious leader too. And then look, because of the, the success of the Futuhat, or the material success of the Abu Bakr and Umar in the conquest of other lands, also change or shift balance of power. And because of the Futuhat, they need to rely in Yemeni tribes, and they are much more numerous and powerful, and they're brave, like the one Malik Ashtar is from, and many other ones. And they were successful in the Futuhat. They get influence, and they are the ones which are the supporter of Imam Ali, because many of them converted to Islam in the hand of Imam Ali. And also they're asking, where is Ali? Why is just sideline, what is just at house and not involved in anything. So these kind of unhappiness and dissatisfaction, or kind of I don't know, raising your concern, it was heard. And Omar heard it and was upset, clearly doesn't want. And they will see why he doesn't want, because he doesn't, there's sometimes they say Ali was young at that time, so we choose Abu Bakr because older. But the point is this: he's categorically against Bani Hashim, and he doesn't want the Bani Hashim get power. And then he made the whole argument that, okay, no, Nabuwa couldn't be, and Malukiya or Khilafat couldn't be in the same family, which against exactly all the Quranic injunctions. He's very sensitive about this, and already after 12 years, again, he's sensitive. He's getting angry, and then I was saying the whole verses of the Quran is against this direction Umar is taking. And then Omar here is upset and says, by God, the oath of allegiance for Abu Bakr was merely a precipitated deal, which then was carried out. مَكَانَتْ بَيَّةُ الْعُمَرِ إِلَّا فَلْتَ فَتَمَّ. Omar, this is the theory. Omar says, yes, it was accidental. Falta is a crucial word. Falta means something is not pre-planned, not organized, not thought about. Suddenly you have to take decision, something happened and get-go, you have to take a gut feeling, take the decision. And usually it has a negative connotation, because decisions are take without reflection, meditation are not good. But Abu Bakr adds, although it was like that, but his outcome was good. Why you disputed that? Because the point is that those who raise this concern kind of are criticizing, maybe they're not saying just after Umar we like Imam Ali, but essentially effectively they're saying from the beginning should have been Imam Ali, or Umar, is these, some of things are not narrated, some of things are hidden, and this is processed edited a lot, but this is raising your concern on dissatisfaction very, very subtly. So, and he got it, and he got upset because this kind of saying was questioning his own legitimacy and Abu Bakr election or legitimacy. So Umar grew angry and said, God willing, I shall stand up tonight among the people and shall warn them about this clan. Look, this clan. Who's this clan? Bani Hashim, who want to usurp the rule from the people. That now he accused the Bani Hashim, we want to get the rulership from the people, stealing it, which I mean, kind of he made the rule, and now he thinks it belongs to him and what he thinks it is, and then they have no share in it because he thinks they should have a share. فَمُحَذَّرُهُمْ هَؤُلَاءِ لَلَّذِينَ يُرِيدُونَ أَنْ يَقْصُبُوا, يعني قصب کنند. They take away the nasa amrohum. Amrohum here means the rule, the government, the aphers. Amrohum in this context means. So he's upset and he said, I'm going to talk, and then really attack them and criticize them. And remember, this is in Hajj, is Mena, is Mecca, is not Medina. And then Madalung adds, Omar's answer referring to the ambition of this clan leaves no room for doubt that an unidentified candidate for the caliphate was Ali. So those that they don't mention his name, but it comes out from the narration who that other people were referring to. And it was Ibn Abbas' consistent contention that Omar was greatly worried about the Bani Hashim arrogating the reign to themselves and depriving the people, Quraysh, after the collective right to it. So Omar, we see Omar and Abu Bakr, we see they argue for the rulership of Quraysh, but they make it limited to only include Quraysh, not including Arabs, but make it bigger, not including Bani Hashim, or even excluding Bani Hashim. Because he thinks there's a collective right of Quraysh to rule. And then this is nowhere in Islam. But the Quraysh were the biggest enemies of the Prophet. They fight it to the end. Most of them are against the Prophet. They didn't accept Islam until the conquest of Mecca. And why they should collective rule? What is this rule coming from? I mean, because you have to define it like way. Because both Umar and Abu Bakr are from branches of Quraysh which are secondary, minor, not the important one. You know, the Umayyads, Bani Umayyah, Makhzum, and Bani Hashim were the three main branches. One historically more prestigious or noble, the other two are becoming the richest and more powerful. And Taym and Marra, which Abu Bakr were there, they're very far offshoots. You know, any family, you know, some are more prominent, some are far. So this is just his own view, which is no justification. But Abdurrahman Auf, who saw this Omar get upset and wants to talk, said, okay, I have to see how much time we have. Okay. Abdurrahman was advised the Caliph against speaking out immediately. He thought this Omar is angry and they are in Mecca, and then in Mecca, remember, there are many people coming from Hajj, and then they don't know anything about much of the stuff. And then when Omar go talk, they start to notice something's not right. They start, what's going on? What's the problem? What happened? Or the whole things which maybe somewhat was forgotten or hidden under the success of the conquests. Because really, the conquest covered all this and is still with us. Well, all these Salafis just want material conquest. They want empire. If they're successful, for example, they all think in jihad, getting romance, getting, I don't know, slaves, getting money and stuff like that. Anyway, Abdurrahman advised the Caliph against speaking out immediately, since the pilgrimage season brought together the riffraff and the rabble of people. Look, he's looking down. He says the common and ordinary people, ignorant people, all level classes are here. And then you bring them, everybody, you want to go to talk in the during Hajj season, you know, all those crowdedness, people shouldn't know about it, and there's not no concern. They're coming from all around, you know, nowadays. Why you want to talk about them? Who might misinterpret his words and cause serious trouble. And I mean, so they don't say the truth. They say if you tell them, those who didn't know about it, they start to ask questions. Omar got the idea. Omar should, and then Abdurrahman Auf added, Omar should wait until his return to Medina, where he would be among the companions of the Prophet. But these companions of the Prophet, his own group, his people, it's a controlled environment. Muhajirun and Ansar, who could be trusted to understand his speech properly and to act accordingly. Look, these are, you have to remember, like governments, how they put excuses. These are official narrations. So all the words are chosen. It says, come here, we talk in Hadith. We are the ones we tell us, you know, you have to be careful. These are all, this is a very disputed concern, like Trump doesn't say, we are doing everything for security and the benefit of people or something like that. Who could trust it to understand, any ruler is doing nice words, understand his speech properly and to act accordingly, and Omar accepted. So now you have to see the Hajj season to be ended. They have to go back to Medina. At this couple of weeks we're talking. So, and then Omar has the time to think about it, to what he wants to say. And this is the first time, at least the recorded one, he wants to say what happened at that fateful night, which kind of was still with us. On the Friday after Omar's return to Medina, Ibn Abbas hastened to the mosque. So he knew that at the way Abdurrahman to tell him Omar would do a khutbah Friday khutbah and would talk about this. And Ibn Abbas knew that because he was Bani Hashim, he knew all the stories, the family of him sidelined, all the rumors inside, so on. You know, I mean, we can go, which I didn't do, go to Sulaim ibn al-Bayt and see what is there, because there are much details there too. But for now, I keep it from Tabari and not long to be in the middle. Ibn Abbas hastened to the mosque and sat down next to the pulpit, eager to hear what the Caliph would say. So he knows the interesting talk, like, you know, we have in Iran history in the last 20 years, some of these khutbahs, which everybody's anxious to see what is going to be said, like, for example. And then he goes to sit in the first row. And then interesting part is that Omar's brother-in-law, Sa'd ibn Zayd ibn Amr al-Nufail, is sitting there. And then Ibn Abbas, which is much younger, tell him that the commander of faithful means Omar would today say something very important. And that guy, which is brother-in-law of Omar, I guess is the husband of his sister, if I correctly remember. I checked it a long time ago. He was upset, he's saying to you, young guy, what do you know? I mean, how you know this secrets? I don't know. How you know that Omar is going to say something very important and you, which nobody knows, and you know that he's going to talk about it. But Ibn Abbas doesn't answer, and the Omar started to give a khutbah. And this khutbah is recorded. And then, there's some stuff which Omar is interesting in it, and one of them is the stoning. But let's see, this is the same khutbah that Omar again emphasized stoning. And he likes, I don't know, really, this is his cause. After stressing the special importance of his speech, the Caliph first reminded the community that the punishment of stoning for adultery had been part of the Quran, was practiced by the Prophet. But, this is we are not sure this how true it is, because he mentioned some verse which is not in Quran. Let no one go astray, therefore, by neglecting a religious duty, fariza, and saying we do not find stoning in the book of God. So clearly says there is no verse of. And then remember, if this is officially accepted, the new collection of Osman hasn't happened. But the other thing we should accept, no, it doesn't mean there was no collection of Quran. People think there was no collection of Quran. The people have complete collection of Quran in this, I don't know, 18, 20 years. Osman, this standardized them, make them all the same dictations, pronunciation, stuff like that. The people, companion have their own Qurans, and then what Zayd ibn Sabit did, which is we are going up, his name is coming, if it's true. One of them maybe prepare a personal copy for Umar and Abu Bakr. At the first, just after the demise of Prophet. That is for them. He helped them to have their own copy because they maybe not have it. But other people had it. And then the concept book was there, people reciting it. The units of army were sent with Quran reciters. But Osman came, make all the, not like our printings now, Osman Taha, even page numbers. When I was a child, you couldn't tell people go page 542. Because 542 did meaning. Because the 542 for one would maybe Surah to Shura, the other one maybe would Yasin or Sarda. But now our printings are so standardized, all of our 604 pages. So this is important. So the concept of Book of God is there. Nobody see the verse for stoning. And Omar stresses, no, it was. And now he's talking about the new Nask, which a verse is removed from Quran, which is not the typical Nask we know. And then Omar, okay, but this is his cause. And he said, despite that you have to do it, this is wajib. Omar went on, we also used to recite in the book of God, do not desire fathers other than your own, for it is infinity for you. This is a very silly thing. I mean, it really doesn't make sense to be Quran that, for example, if you have father, don't, for example, show your disrespect or dissatisfaction, or in your heart that thinking, oh, I wish somebody else my father. This is not the Quran, and he claims that. We don't know how it is. But anyway, then he asked, surely, so this is like the khutbahs we have nowadays, that they talk about other stuff, and usually the important stuff put in the second khutbah. Omar is coming doing the same. Surely the Messenger of God also said, do not extol me excessively, as Jesus, son of Mary, has been extolled by Said, the servant of God and his messenger. I don't know why he said this. I think maybe this is start to moving in the right direction, whether we shouldn't make the so much praising Prophet Muhammad. Also definitely shouldn't praise his family. This downplaying the family. The same we started the other lecture series that Paul was doing to the family of Jesus. But anyway, he said stuff. Then he went to the main subject. Okay, the second khutbah, or the summary started. Okay, and then he said, it has reached to me that one of you has said, somebody has said, by God, if Umar ibn Khattab were to die, I would swear allegiance to so and so. So that's the sentence. But then he asked, let no one be seduced to saying the oath of allegiance for Abu Bakr was faulty, yet it succeeded. I don't know, the word seduced means here. I mean, the way it's translated, you feel his introductory clause is negating the sentence coming after that. But whatever is, this is his view. This is his view, and we had that oath of allegiance to Abu Bakr, as he believes, and he said it other times too, was falta, was accident, was not pre-planned. So he's kind of said, we didn't plan it, there's no conspiracy, we didn't think about it, we have no idea about it before that, just suddenly happened on us. We would get something, for example, we get the rush through it or feared, and then we just God, and then that makes it, if you pre-plan it, is you, but it suddenly happens. Sometimes you see God somehow induced on us to do it, and oh look, alhamdulillah, there's a blessing, it succeeded because we defeated the two empires, Rome and Persia, so it was a good thing. God really kind of induces it to do. So that's his theory, and that's historically Sunnis accepted till today. The version of Aisha is not much flying. And then he says, it was indeed so. So maybe he's repeating, let no one be seduced to saying, but it is indeed so, but God has warded off its evil. So it says, yeah, it was falta, it was not precedent. And as I said, falta usually is a crucial word. It's usually negative. In the connotation they have is negative. مثلا like ajale in Farsi in Arabic. Generally, ajale kardan, rushing to doing something is not good, is of connotation. But sometimes you have to do it. And if it's come out good, okay, it's good. This is saying that. It wasn't a good kind of situation, but God helps us to remove any evil from it. Towards no one among you have necks been stretched out as for Abu Bakr. And then he wants to justify Abu Bakr was the best. And then I think the sense next raised, when somebody comes, like celebrity people standing up to look at him, to see him, or walking in front of you. For example, a president coming in his car, people looking to see him. So he wants to claim when we choose Abu Bakr is most respected, most known, most liked. But this are not true. And then look, the balance of population has been changed. Not many people do not know what's going on. Yeah, the revolutions, the ones were really popular. The first few years of revolution are forgotten, and some people which are not there are really prominent, and the story is set by the new perspective. But this is Omar is telling it, he's the caliph, his legitimacy based on the selection of Abu Bakr. So he's saying that whoever were to swear allegiance to any man without consultation, mashwara among the Muslims, his oath of allegiance would be invalid, and both of them would be subject to being killed. So now he's pushing to the next one. Says, okay, we did it. It was shar. God removed the shar, but you guys cannot do that. You cannot come and say, I'm going to choose Ali or Bay'a Ali. Oh, no, from now on should be in Shura. So, and Shura again is the Shura he wants. Because the whole thing, he has an idea of Shura, and then we have the modern idea of democracy, which some of these people say, okay, election of Abu Bakr with democracy, which we'll see it is not. But here's Omar wants to remove the other precedents because he doesn't want people suddenly after he passed away go pay to Imam Ali and things gets out of their head. And this is exactly the problem. Even he's died, he's assuming that time he's died, he doesn't want to let it go. He's planning for it after that, which also the kings do. They want his sons be succeeding or preparing for the next ruler, or some of the things are Muawiyah for Muawiyah for Yazid or other rulers for do it. So, and then he threatened them. If somebody wants to go and without that counsel which I choose, and the output of that you should agree and bay'ah to, not by yourself. So the commoners, you couldn't go directly bay'ah with Ali. No. Because they hear this is spreading out. People are talking about it, they're agitating about it, and that's to get a legitimacy to Shura. He had to put Ali in it. Ansar preferred Ali, Yemenis preferred Ali, and many other groups preferred Ali, Imam Ali. So he wants to stop it and say, okay, it's not that you go choose him. No, we have to have a consultation process, an outcome of consultation process. We put it in front of you and should be. Omar then gave an account of, but you have to explain a little bit more. Then he gave an account of the events after the death of Prophet Muhammad. That's the one we are looking. And it seems he says, I haven't looked to the Arabic, unfortunately, whether he specifically mentioned Imam Ali or this is commentary of Madalong. But the situation which is explained is this. Umar started, and then is a little bit vague. Ansar will start to be gathering assembly in Saqifat Bani Saida. I mean, I wanted to show a picture of it. I forgot. Still, maybe later on we have time. I'll show it to you. And the question, is this is a branch of Ansar. Ansar, have two main tribes, Aus and Khazraj. Bani Saida is a branch of Khazraj, important branch of Khazraj. And then Saqifa means a small area, somehow has a kind of roof on it, and a gathering place, and the like community center. Not, I mean, the gathering place, and they sit and talk and discuss and decide. So each of these sub-branch the tribes had something for themselves. It wasn't too big for all the people, but it wasn't too small. And then they were gathering over there to see what they had to do. And so that's an Ansar. And then it's not necessarily Khazraj. As maybe I say it now, look, Khazraj had, because some people say it's only because Bani Saida was part of Khazraj. Those who gathered there was only from Bani Saida or at most Khazraj. Now, it seems all the narrations suggest the collectivity of Ansar were there. Look, Ansar had two main branches, as I said, Aus and Khazraj. They have rival together, fight together. And then one reason they invited Prophet Muhammad to Medina were tired of those fights, which sometimes Nan says. Khazraj at the end have more upper hand. Aus was a little bit losing side. Prophet Muhammad himself, his mother was from Khazraj. Abdul Muttalib mother, his grandfather was from Khazraj. So from Bani Najran and other branches of Khazraj, there are some relatives of Prophet Muhammad, some closer to Khazraj. And the Khazraj and Aus had two charismatic leaders. One of them was Sa'd ibn Mu'az, leader of Aus, and Sa'd ibn Ubaydah was the leader of Khazraj. So two Sa'd ibn Mu'az, Sa'd ibn Ubaydah. But Sa'd ibn Mu'az, a few years earlier, during one of the battles, was injured. And died as a result of injury. So Aus, besides the last few decades were an underdog with respect to Khazraj, have lost their charismatic leader too. They didn't have any leader at that stature. Like, for example, Shias in Lebanon do not have any leader in the level of Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah or Sayyid Hashim Safiuddin. This happened to them. But Sa'd ibn Ubaydah, the leader of Khazraj, was there. So he was a charismatic with a history, but old. And we'll see today he's not feeling well. So that's Ansar is gathering together. We'll discuss a little bit more what's happening. And then Bani Hashim and maybe specifically Ali and Zubair. And some people mention Talha. It's not necessarily Bani Hashim, but other part of Quraysh. The names are there, Miqdad, Salman, some people mentioning Abu Zar. These are at Hazrat Fatima's house. You have to know this is not necessarily the house which is near the mosque, because there was some question whether they can fit in that. The house which Imam Ali and Hazrat Fatima had in the early years, which is this door open to the mosque. All other houses, the door open to the mosque. The main mosque was closed for Abu Bakr or other ones, which the small house they initially had close to the center mosque. Only for Hazrat Fatima was open. But no, after the Khaybar, the situation was changed. Relative wealth come to the city. So one of the mistakes when we do the history of Medina, people understood Medina's latter years in terms of the early years. That's wrong. After Khaybar, the financial situation was changed. Lots of openings had happened, and then the Hazrat Ali, Hazrat Fatima, and especially now they have 4 children, and then Fazda with them, they have a bigger house farther away, and so they got it over there. Now the story here, which I have it here, is a little bit vague. it says suddenly Omar says Muhajirin joined Abu Bakr and Omar suggested they go to our brethren in Ansar. So it seems somehow they know that the Ansar is gathering in Saqifa Bani Sa'ida, and then Muhajirin said, okay, let's go see our brothers and Ansar and sit together and uh, have a discussion, joining them and reflecting on the losing of a prophet and thinking about tomorrow. But it's not like that. Some reports say they may be at that time close to the house of prophet or somewhere, but somebody come and among all the peoples, the gathering. So maybe Umar and Abu Bakr, the early part when the prophet died, this is a famous, they didn't anticipate prophet die as that soon. So Abu Bakr went to one of the states farther away, and then the moment Prophet died, he wasn't there. And Umar was worried, and the group was worried that people maybe suddenly go bay'ah, immediately, which in the British, the other ones always is immediate, but the king is dead. They usually shout, the king is dead, long live the king. So one king is dead, and the successor, long live the king. It's a little bit, okay, proverbial, but they're really worried that suddenly people come and get the bay'ah to Imam Ali, and Umar start to pay the theatrics. Oh, Prophet hasn't died. Prophet has gone to Miraj, not Miraj, like Moses. He will come back. And everybody said Prophet had died. I will cut his head, and so on. He made a scene, showing his grief, radicalism, but tipping out to Abu Bakr came, and the way to Abu Bakr came, and Abu Bakr came, calming him down. Oh, don't Omar say that? You don't, the verse in the Quran that says Prophet dies. Oh, Omar said, oh, I forgot about the verse. Okay, we don't know this. How much knowledge you are? But the point is that so they buy time like that. Maybe they are for doing their plan. They're still around the house of Prophet or somewhere, but somebody come tip them. Look, Ansar are making a meeting, and effectively they over take a gut feeling decision. Let's go before Ansar take a decision, storm the meeting. And it's not Muhajirun moving. It's only Umar and Abu Bakr and their third companion, Abu Ubaidah Jarrah. So the triumvirate. These are three, the leader, the ringleader. They go toward the Sayyid Bani Sa'id. There are many, many Muhajirin. None of them come with them. It's not a big consultation, open invitation, announcement. Okay, we are gathering 6 p.m. or 8 p.m. after this time to go to the discussing this. Everybody welcome or so. No. Those Ansar meeting was a secret. Somebody tipped Omar, and Omar picked up Abu Bakr, and then somehow they called Abu Ubaidah. They walked through of them, and then also on the road going there, two other Ansari came and told him some information. So join them. So we become 5. So we have 3 Muhajir, 2 Ansari uh, going through that place. And in all this history of Islam, no other Muhajir no other companion has claimed I was there in this momentous event which Abu Bakr was chosen by Ummah as the Caliph. It wasn't no Ummah, no consultation, no democracy, no nothing. Uh, so nobody was there. I was there. I see it. Even Abu Huraira or style people not even uh, lied about it. Boast about it while they were not there. Sometimes some people want to claim some honor for themselves, which is not true, because everybody know who was there, who was not there. Nobody dared to do that. Nobody said it. Nobody. Just those 3. So it's neither Bani Hashim is there, neither Abbas is there, Zubair there, Imam Ali there. There's no consultation. Because Omar has this attitude to sometimes get gut feeling and take the decision, is positive or good or bad in it. Like last time he wants to do immediately reacting, give a talk, then they calm him down. But this time he's the one push Abu Bakr to go to the meeting, storm the meeting, because they're worried. Bani Sa'ida take a decision. Ansar take a decision. Yeah. The way there they meet, Omar called them 2 upright men of them who told them about the plotting of the Ansar and advised them to turn back. These 2 told them go back and don't go to Ansar. At least this is the appearance. Maybe you want to show the steadfastness of Omar despite all the advice. He continued and pushed through, but they advised them to turn back instead of their own efforts. But Omar is not proceeding. which is, the decision. You had to look this. The other Madalong also is doesn't think this is premeditated, pre-planned. It is ridiculous. Sometimes the research scholars don't think about. We have the other extreme. Allama Askari has a book on Saqifa, which I didn't read it to bring it here because if I was doing that, I would be more inclined, the more Shi or maybe extreme view, that is completely, which I agree, completely is planned. You have to be very naive or self-delusional, which if you don't, everything is planned. And look, one of the things we have to be careful. This is politics, and again, the mistake we think, oh, this is in Medina. There are 5 people, and the Sahaba are companions of poor, living together, all better than brotherly. These are all mythical stories made after the Khaybar, first the world come, and then after conquest of Medina, the prestige of Medina changed. Medina became the capital of the whole peninsula. Many tribes visit. It is like China 40 years ago, but China now, very different. Medina after years of 9, 10 after Hijrah is very different of Medina after first and second 2 years of the Hijrah is after Hijrah. This is very different. And there are wars, there are power, there are tribes coming converting, there are tribes coming negotiating to get points to convert. There are legendary huge tribes of east, all south, all the parts, those are very big tribes, which they later on read the wars. They have Medina, the government has to fight with them. And they have a spot, kind of the same way. My opinion is, and I think it's vindicated, Sa'd ibn Ubadah, the leader of Khazraj, they heard about Imam Ali's, they knew about Imam Ali's designation. I will see some of the comments Ansar give, but they heard about the Muhajirin have their own plans. And so, and that means they are thinking what they should do. That meeting was that. So they noticed Muhajirin are not satisfied with Ali. And Ali was the only tribe blind Muhajir. They like him because he was not favoritism. But the other ones, they noticed the tribalism is them. They don't like, they look down to Ansaris. Look, the cleavage or the separation or the difference between the tribes in Medina and Mecca was huge, because Arabs are usually divided in 2 or 3 big categories of tribes. And we can call them easiest one, the 2 category, northern and southern. And Sar were southern tribes, were Yemenis originally. They immigrated to upper part in Hijaz, to Medina, which is north of Mecca, but originally from Yemenis tribe. So they have closer relationship to them. Why Mecca and Ta'if, Saqif from Ta'if, the other important city, are northern tribes. So this is very important dynamics for the last 2-3 centuries after Islam, early Islam. So this is the differences that exist with them. The way they lived, Ansar were doing agriculture. Quraysh were either trade people or pastoral. So that still we have many civilizations, the tension between nomadic or pastoral people and the settled agricultural people. The Quraysh look down to the Ansar. So they feel they will be second-class citizen. If not, Ali is not chosen as a leader, and then one other Qurayshi is chosen, things go. And that's the time they thought that maybe, okay, if it is going to be second-class citizen, let's break it down. We have our own rule. We are in our house. At least we are master of our house. We don't want to be. So you see, they start the whole tribalism of the hearing. Their spy telling them Quraysh is doing that. The sign of dissatisfaction, the sign of planning, the sign of all this conspiracy is going down. They hear it. We have even an issue. They wanted to assassinate Prophet Muhammad after the Ghadir. I didn't mention it. That's kind of certain. Even Sunni Shia has it. The names are hidden. They're talking about 14 people. They want to assassinate in this way. They want to make horse of the stimulate or trigger the horse to kind of dropping the Prophet Muhammad because it was is a narrow way in the mountains when they're coming back or some way, and then to causing him to be killed. Some people say after the Badr, some people say after the Tabuk, but these all things are there. And then to make it true, look, we have to see the names of the people which are the this conspiracy theory or the gang of Saqifa. The three core were Abu Bakr, Umar, and Abu Ubaydah Jarrah. And then Abu Ubaydah Jarrah, you should know that this is the one Umar said if he was alive, he would be third caliph, not Osman. Osman was not prominent or something like that. But Abu Ubaydah Jarrah died as a ta'un or epidemic happened in maybe about 5-6 years earlier, when the army of the Muslims in Syria, 5-6 of them have died from this. We don't know what exactly the viral disease was. They call it ta'un, but it's something like that. So Abu Ubaydah Jarrah was died. And then the thing is that when Prophet, look, the connections is this: when Prophet made when Muhajirin come to Medina, Prophet made the brotherhood compact with them. So usually one Muhajir with one Ansar become brother. And then this, and also some of them also by marriage. We have one example, we see that is Muhajir married with the Ansar, or sometimes they're associate, the Mawlas are married with Ansar. So sometimes they get inside information from each other. So the brother of this one tell this one, that one, this the relatives, or vice versa. And then you can see Umar and Abu Bakr has their network. You have to look to the marriages. One of the branches of Ansar, which will be important, but I don't have to rush because, I have to go faster. One of the branches of Ansar, which will be just the events in the Saqifa, very important. From Aus, Umar has married 2 women from them. And then actually they may be Jewish women. I mean, this was not written by Israeli Jewish scholar, which shows that Omar and his elder brother, married 4 women, and from these Ansari sub-branch, which may be Jewish or I would say, and that's a very interesting sub-branch. Omar was the Judaophile, like Judaism. That's another topic. So I'm saying, these are known. These are the history books. They're, Hadith Sunni. But what I'm saying, look, they have connection. They have spies from each other. They hear rumors. They hear newses, and they were on alert. And somebody tip him off, and tip him off. Okay, these are getting there. What I want just to let you know, they want rushed to go through there. 2 other people came to bring new information, and then he called them 2 upright men because he's his buddy, his friend. And then those advised him, don't go over there. These are really tense and hostile. Maybe things doesn't go there. But Omar notes he has to do something, because if the Ansar break away and pay homage to somebody else, they lose control. And they have some plan. Okay, maybe you say they have some view what the future should be. So they continue. So maybe I have to go just read what it is, because we have time to at least one outline of it. And then I put some extra discussions later. They find the answer, and in the midst of them was Sa'd ibn Ubadah, distinguished companion and chief of the Bani Saida, and Khazraj, a sick man wrapped in a mantle. So you see, Sa'd ibn Ubadah was sick, and then some mantle was around him. And then they notice when the Umar and Abu Bakr get into the meeting, one of the Ansars stood up and addressed the Muhajirun. We are the helpers and the legion, Katib of Islam. Katab, we have the word Katab, which has come from Kataba, but the legion or groups of Islam would fight. And then, each side they're saying their virtues. So he said, we are the helpers and legion of Islam, and you, group of Quraysh, company of Quraysh, are the clan of our Prophet, and a group, Dafa of your people have made their way to us. You were rejected, you were pushed away from your own people, you come join us, we let you come in and help you. And then it says the Omar, the way Omar has narrated, Omar realized that Ansar are really the way they're putting the arguments or telling the story. They intended to cut us off from our roots, the Quraysh of Mecca, and to usurp the root from us. And then he thinks from the beginning the root belongs to Quraysh for the sake of Quraysh. I mean, Quraysh is nothing Islamic here. It's not even Malajiri. It's called Quraysh. Quraysh, which is the big, large enemy. He looks to oligarchy of Quraysh to rule. And then Omar says he wanted to give a speech. This is a little shorter version. The Tabari is the longer, a little bit some details are there. Madalong has shortened it. I'm bringing from that. Omar wanted to give a speech, which it seems he had prepared when his way going over there. But Abu Bakr stopped him and he gave a speech, because maybe they worried Omar would be too hot-headed and things go out of hand. And then Omar says, oh, okay, but Abu Bakr said exactly what I wanted to say. He did it better than I could. So he started to compliment Abu Bakr. But Abu Bakr says, look, so it seems some of Ansari were listing their own virtues. Abu Bakr gets a middle way, say, oh, group of Ansar, every virtue you mention of yourselves, you are worthy of, yet the Arabs will not recognize the rule of anyone but this tribe of Quraysh, which they would recognize if they accepted what Prophet said. And we're not talking about Arabs, we're talking about Muslims. We're talking about the new religion. We don't want to an ancient kingdom of Arabs or something like that. And then he says, and then all is nobility and pre-Islamic nobility. It's not nobility in akramakum indallah atqakum. It's the nobility of the tribal lineage. So just look, Prophet, when all those 10 years to Medina, wants to produce the ummah, not and breaking down all the tribal system. Make Ansar and Muhajir brother, make just what is important. Taqwa, be ummah, and not I'm a member of this tribe or the other tribe, and I defend my tribe no matter what. But these guys all opening those wounds, the ones with Prophet to heal, to remove. This is Aus and Khazraj, not fighting each other. We are all Muslim. It's not Aus and Khazraj, just Muslim. No, they walk on all those wounds, open them, and make a logic of tribalism, which hunted and damaged the Islamic civilization in the first few centuries. They are the most central noble, Abu Bakr continued, they are the most central noble of the Arabs in lineage and Abad. Both location, both lineage. I'm satisfied with either of these two men of you. So Abu Bakr doesn't wait. He noticed he have to fast finish the story, and then says, okay, I'm going to so as a result, I'm going to bay out with these two guys. No other Qurayshi is there, not Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, not Abdul Rahman of, none of those very famous Abd Allah and Mas'ud, nobody is there. Abu Zar, nobody is there. Just these two guys. And then Abu Bakr said, okay, I'm going to bay out with one of these two guys, Umar and Abu Ubaydah Jarrah. But this is the theatrics, because they knew they wouldn't accept, oh, no, till you are here, we wouldn't do that. And they would immediately bay out with Abu Bakr, and then they initiate the chain of bay'ah. Omar come, and then Omar said, look, these are edited way of Omar. Omar said that this is the only part that he candidated me to bay'ah with me, which I didn't like his speech. The humbleness of Omar or something. Omar commented this is the only matter in his speech that he found loathsome, since it was inconceivable for himself to command a people that included Abu Bakr. So Abu Bakr is so good, impossible I can rule on Abu Bakr, But exactly, the Prophet Muhammad not few days before, on the same day, had put Osama as commanding Abu Bakr and Umar, put them in the army to go to the front, and they disobeyed. So, but when this go here, Al-Hubab ibn Munzir, one of the Ansar and a veteran of Bad, noticed there's differences happening and said, okay, let's do it this way. Let's go now propose to set up the dispute fairly by agreeing that Ansar, the Quraysh, should choose an emir. So kind of when you throw the main plan, which a prophet suggested Imam Ali, then you go to the own way. And then they notice if it's be Qurayshi and this type of Qurayshi, they were second-class citizen. And I start thinking whether we want to be first-class citizen in a smaller city of ourselves, or second-class citizen in the kingdom of Arabia. And as tempers flared and voices were raised, we need to have a longer treatment of it, whatever is left, But some of the interesting parts are there, but still we don't have time already. I'm behind, so we have to go faster. A separate flight of voices were raised. Omar told Abu Bakr, stretch your hand, and gave him the handshake of the Pledge of Allegiance. Bay'ah, Muhajir and Ansar, some followed suit, but we have to see. Actually, this is jump. There is one of the Ansar which they have tipped him off and worked with him. Omar comes to Bay'ah with Abu Bakr, but one of those Ansari guys rushed and before Abu Bakr Bay'ah Omar. So he's the first one to Bay'ah, and then Abu Omar and Abu Ubaydah Bay'ah with Abu Bakr. Not all Ansar would Bay'ah, actually, contrary to Omar said, and majority of them hold. But there are some, they break rank. And remember, traditional tribal custom is a tribe is one block. You stick to the tribe, and you stick with the station of the sheikh, one for all for one. And whatever you decide, you follow, if this is a tribal thing. So they have technically to wait with Sisa about it does. Because still also Khazraj are rivalries, but still they find themselves Medina closer to each other too. But here there are some breaking and some split. And that split kind of helped shock the Ansar, shock the Sa'd ibn Ubadah that some of the people of him disobeying him and kind of off guard them. They were surprised. The shock on them was high. If one is also kind of I think with the branches, Omar was connected more with them, have marriage with them, and other branches have stimulated their jealousy much, which they maybe accepted leadership of Imam Ali or somebody else, but if they gain the leadership of Medina would be the hand of their rival Khazraj, maybe some of them didn't like. So they preferred and maybe second-class citizen in a non Khazraji or Qurayshi government than be the classic rivals, historical rivals, be leader. Because technically, if there was going to be chosen one Amir from Ansar, would be Khazraj. So Aus completely break, and many of them bay'at with Abu Bakr. The other thing is that the nephew Sa'd ibn Ubadah, that was the most shock for him. Some Bashir, who sees full name, he also break, and then that was shocking because that was the immediate family in the Bani Saida, and the guy, somewhere where there was a jealousy and some tension between his uncle, he break the rank. And then there are other people breaking rank. One of them is Zayd ibn Sabit Ansari, which is relatively young, but then that later on he got the project of collecting Quran or editing the Quran. But those who break rank and join the plan of Abu Bakr and Umar, they were rewarded financially very well after. They become very well reached. They are much more richer than the same level of people from Ansar. So this kind of the reward for the loyalty, the same. Okay. So I I read faster because I want to hear the full history, the details. I stop maybe. But the point is that when this bay'ah start, so you have a chaotic scene, and then Saad wasn't feeling good. It was an old man. Then some people said jumped in the car, jump on Saad and pushing him away or rushing. And then one guy said, "You're killing Saad ibn Ubadah," and the other guy said, "Oh, may God kill the Saad." This old man, they're not careful rushing through. And then Omar continues that by God, we didn't find any case stronger than the for the oath of allegiance to Abu Bakr. We fear that if we left the people without the pledge of allegiance, they might, after our departure, suddenly make the pledge. So you see, they noticed that Tanur Dabe Farsi, you have to stick the bread till the tanner is hot. You have to stick the bread. They worried. They didn't want to leave until this is finished because they weren't sure if they leave and Sar doesn't go their own way or go suddenly bay'ah with Imam Ali. And things doesn't go the way they want. We would then had either to follow them, what they have chosen, which because it was their city, their capital, with which we're not pleased, or to oppose them, the evil facade will be resulted. So Omar has a judgment. If he wants to be successful, she had to do it fast and do it, but didn't wait. If he didn't go, and I think Ansar wouldn't do the meeting if they haven't heard that Muhajirin has their own plan. There are clear examples. They gather together. You see people are sitting together in the mosque and they're hearing what they're saying, and that they're not going satisfied with Imam Ali. And you know, the Imam Ali has produced some dissatisfaction. When a few months earlier, Prophet sent him to the Yemen, and then people, some tension. People start to wear the dresses, which was not for the soldiers, but it was a gift to the Prophet, and then Imam Ali forced them to take it out. They notice with his rulership, there's not much benefit. So let's go for the, you cannot make money and become rich at the side of it. Okay, several aspects of the report deserve. Yeah, let's go at least we read this. These are so this is a summary one, but there are many things. I think Umar, I'm not sure when he's finished here, but let's see what he said. Several aspects of the report deserve attention. Omar accused the Ansar of plotting to seize the reign, his succession to Muhammad, and to deprive Muhajirin of their right. Modern historians, generally Western ones, generally understand the initiative of Ansar in the same sense, but this interpretation was having to be questioned. So Madalong said, no, it doesn't make sense. The idea of the caliphate, but his argument is a little bit different than what I said. I'm thinking they really heard the same way Omar had the connection ears they had, and they noticed things are not not going the way it initially was intended to go, so they thought a second plan. But what Maduk said is also could be part of it. The idea of the caliphate, the succession of Muhammad in all but his prophetic mission had not yet been born. I don't agree with this, but let's see what he says. It is difficult to see how the Ansar meeting alone among themselves could have aspired to it. I mean, they know rulers, they know all chieftains, and then the whole, even if Qadir has happened, the whole idea was established. And Abu Bakr had the idea, so why Ansar not having it? Like so many of the Arab tribes involved in the Red Wars, which happened after that, the Ansar, while firm in their Muslim faith, no doubt considered the allegiance to Muhammad as lapsing on his death. Yeah, this is an interpretation which again doesn't match with the way Prophet would have looked at it, and the prophethood and rulership are not separate. They say when the Ansar in the two Payman of Aqaba and other cases get allegiance to Prophet Muhammad is only to Prophet Muhammad himself. And then when Prophet Muhammad passed away, they're absolved of the allegiance, and then they can decide whom you want to bay'ah with. But this is more than that. This is a new political structure. Ummah, they're Muslim. It is not going back to the pre-Islamic structure. And that's exactly what Prophet Muhammad take Imam Ali Ghadir up to show them. He says, the one who consider me a prophet and consider me have authority on them, so I put by the decree of God Imam Ali as their authority. So here Medallion has a very secular one. So it's not that these people, they know what is happening. They invited Prophet Muhammad to Payman Arab to produce a new political reality, political entity, a new civil contract established, which would not be tribal, to stop their fight. They were tired of all those fights. Abu Bakr maybe also tired. Many other people tired. So they all joined this movement. Maybe they're all looking, for example, people in Iran or other places in the Middle East look, oh, why these Europeans or Western 19th century are progressing, what we should do, what we should do about government. This is Ansar thinking, and then it's okay, Prophet Muhammad maybe solution. So this is mad along the street what he said. Expecting the political community founded on Muhammad to fall apart, they made to restore their control over their city. This expecting is that when if they heard the other people are not obeying, Muhajirin and the other groups are not obeying. They have their own plan. Then they said, okay, if that's the case, we need to take our plan B too. This is why they meet without consulting the Muhajirin. Yeah, that's true. They assumed that these, having no longer any good reason to remain in Medina, would return home to Mecca. We are not sure because the central politics, money, everything now is Medina. And so they immigrated to Medina for a few years. And then, so Medina usually get the upper hand to Mecca for many aspects of political and economical. Those who might wish to remain in Medina would presumably accept the rule of Ansar. The suggestion that Ansar and the Muhajirin should each choose a leader for themselves was evidently meant as a fair compromise proposal rather than the ploy to split the Muslim community, which I agree with this, as it was seen by later Muslim tradition. It was only Abu Bakr Umar, if his claim of having intended to give much the same speech as the former can be trusted, who were thinking in terms of succession to Muhammad entailing the rule over Arabs. So at this he accept Abu Bakr and Umar are thinking about these lines. So why not Sa'd ibn Ubadah, or notice what is happening, what is not happening? Because Arabs also didn't like unified government. You know, this, especially Hijaz, one reason they were in Hijaz and they didn't have central government, they didn't like it. They want the freedom of tribes. So some of these guys, after Prophet Muhammad died, and noticed the other Quraysh and other some of the groups, they're not accepting Ali's designation. So they have intended to maybe go back to uh, old customs. So that could be there. Such a succession, Abu Bakr argued, could be provided only by Quraysh, since the Arab tribes would not submit to anyone else, by those who assembled together, but by those who assembled together with Ali and Zubair in the house of Fatima. Omar evidently meant al-Abbas and Banu Hashim. So it seems Omar explicitly mentioned that in the khutbah that some people will get it in the house of Ali and Zubair, which are, Omar explicitly mentioned these two because now these are two prominent names, and people know them, and then that's the reason he had to put them in the shura. And then the others means Abbas and Bani Hashim. Of other prominent companions, only Talha is mentioned, probably erroneously by Ibn Ishaq as having joined the Hashemites. So Talha is also is with Imam Ali, which could be. But Talha's connection is more, but the long has a point. Talha's affiliation is more with Abu Bakr. They're relatives, they're marriage also related, you know, Aisha's, I don't know, sisters or someone married Talha. So they're more closer to this. That Muhajir at that time joined Abu Bakr was, on the other hand, an apologetic obscuration of Omar's part. So really, Omar has presented all Muhajirin, come with me. Muhajirin came with me. So you see how Omar presented, yeah, we Muhajirin and us, we all go over. But us Muhajirin, only we see three people. Aside from Abu Bakr, Omar, and his friend Abu Ubaydah, certainly none of the prominent Meccan companions was present at the Saqifa meeting. It is reasonable to assume that three men were accompanied by a few personal attendants, family members, and clients. Yet not even a middle-ranking client is somebody joining the tribe, Mawalid, and become part of the tribe. It's not necessarily a slave, and sometimes they're non-Arab. We have one important guy, which is a Persian client, which is an important role in keeping information to Abu Bakr and Umar. Yet not even a middle-ranking or lowly-ranking company is recorded as having later claimed the honor of participating in this so crucial event for the future of Islam. Various later sources report the presence of Salim. Salim is the client Mawla Abu Huzaifa. Abu Huzaifa is important, but this guy is kind of serving their client, not a slave of Abu Huzaifa. And then he's himself as a Persian. And they say he was there in the Saqifa and giving bay'ah to Abu Bakr. But Salim, it could be essentially people claim him and a couple of other people in the second rank, second layer of conspiracy. You know, the three triumvirate with the leadership, Abu Bakr, Umar, Abu Ubaydah, and then the other members of the second and third rows are Salim is there. Salim, they call him Salim Mawla of Abu Huzaifa. Although his attendance is not confirmed by any of the early standard sources, the reports may be reliable. Salim, a Persian client, first of a Medinan woman, then of her husband, then Meccan companion Abu Huzaifa, who later adopted him, become himself a companion at the early date. So he wasn't not only a companion, he becomes an adopted son. So he got a permanent prominence. But then he was counted among both the Ansar and Muhajirin and close relationship both. So because he was Mawali of both Ansari women and Ansar husband, and then the adopted son and Mawali of a Qurayshi, he has a familiarity and foothold in both sides, both groups. And he had a close relation to both Abu Ubaidah, with whom he was associated as a brother by the Prophet. So he also had been made brother to Abu Ubaidah. So that's also the connection. You know, some of these brotherhoods worked in other direction. With whom he was associated brother by the Prophet during the Ma'akhat, and to Umar, also his friend. Umar really liked him and considered him high esteem. Thus, he could either have been present at the meeting as a member of the Ansar, or have come along with Abu Ubaidah and Umar as a close associate, which I think the second one is more true. because he's not prominent Ansari, but he's a part of this conspiracy. The absence of the great majority of Muhajirin in any case explained the lack of reports independent Omar own about the meeting and about Abbas' excited eagerness to hear at first hand. Look, nobody else is left, as Madallah explained, from Muhajir to explain it. Because Abu Bakr has died, Abu Ubaydah Jairah has died, one other person, which we'll see next page, has been died. So from the perspective of Muhajirun, nobody's there to tell the story except Omar. And then Ansar doesn't like to tell the story because it was disaster for them. They lost, they defeated, they split, the disagreement. This is not a good memory. And then it wasn't good for them to talk about it because they were sidelined. All the reign of the Abu Bakr, Umar, and Usman, 25 years, they didn't get prominent positions. And until Imam Ali came, when Imam Ali became the caliph, they got commandership, important positions, governorship, and so on, like Usman ibn Sa'id, Abu Ayyub Ansari, all those guys essentially came out of the house or retirement, effective retirement to get position. The Ansar presidents were evidently reluctant. The Ansar present in Saqifah were evidently reluctant to report about an ignominious defeat in a cause that soon came to be considered anti-Islamic, even by most of them. So even Ansar, after a while, they start to ignore it and then accept the majority view, because especially the success in Futuhat, the vote it brought, the change about, they all wants to look at it. Oh, yeah, it was a good thing. It's no important. After the early deaths of Abu Bakr, Abu Ubaydah was Salim. Salim also was killed. The Mawla Abu Huzaifa was killed in Aqraba during the Ridda War. So Salim even died sooner than Abu Ubaydah. There was only Umar left to tell the story. There is a fifth person too. Yeah, but most of them died or they're not prominent. So Umar really can tell the story and the way he likes. Omar judged the outcome of the Saqifa assembly to be falta because of the absence of most of the prominent Muhajirun. Omar had to give some concessions. So say, okay, it was sudden, it wasn't ajale, it wasn't planned, but still outcome was great. God help us, God guide us, including the Prophet's own family and clan. You don't have to say why they weren't there. So a consultation, shura, why they're in there. Whose participation considered vital for any legitimate consultation, shura, mashwara. He wanted the community to be no precedent for future. So now he says you shouldn't be like that. You shouldn't go way out somebody you like. We have to wait, and then the elders of decide, and then whatever they introduced, you have to pick. He also defended the outcome, claiming that Muslims were lunging for Abu Bakr as for no one else. So again, somehow that line of Aisha, okay, Abu Bakr wasn't planned to choose Abu Bakr, but the outcome was the greatest because he's the best man. He apologized, moreover, that Muhajiri president were forced to press for an immediate oath of allegiance, since the answer could not have been trusted to wait for a legitimate consultation, and might have proceeded to elect one of their own after the departure of Mecca. So we saw that. The question must arise as to the identity of the supporters of Abu Bakr and Umar who enabled them to impose their will on the assembly by force, given that there was only a handful of Meccan Muhajirin present and the Khazraj presumably made up the majority of Ansar. Yeah, I mean, how they were able to be successful, because there are only 2-3 people. They're attending the Ansar's meeting. All the Ansar Khazraj are there, the big tribe. So what helped them to be successful? I mean, somehow daring act, the differences between Ansar is important. Being Umar Abu Bakr, okay, father-in-law of the Prophet Muhammad, they want to be seen around the Prophet Muhammad, that by their daughters marrying Prophet Muhammad, also they were known. But it was something a little more. Look, one of the things is this. He mentioned Katani, these are some researchers, and Ibn Ishaq saying that the Ansari Usayd ibn Huzayr and his clan, the Abd al-Ashhal of Aus, had already joined Abu Bakr together with the Muhajirin before the meeting. I think this is correct. Not doing this great question. I mean, somehow people shows naivete. This is planned. This is much more mediated. They have talked about this. Abd al-Ashhal of Aus have very sinister role, and then some of them connected with Masjid al-Zarar. Even the Masjid al-Zarar is important. We haven't looked at it too much. Who was behind it? Because that's actually considered chief arch enemy of Prophet Muhammad in Medina. It's besides Abd Allah ibn Ubay, which is also the chief of the hypocrites or whatever, munafiqeen. But the Masjid al-Zarar was something more complicated conspiracy, which Prophet ordered to destroy the masjid. And then this branch of Ansar was there. So some branch of Ansar were aware of it. It's not that suddenly come to convention, we don't know nothing, and we chose Kamala Harris from somewhere. No, no. All is planned, all controlled, other people are silent. So the meeting has suggested that in fact all of the Aus opposed the initiative of Khadija from the beginning. Also it worked out, kind of ready to. Madaloon goes arguments against that, but I'm not agreeing with it. So let's go. Anyway, he says that Usaid doesn't accept from the beginning beforehand knows, but adds Usaid, however, appears to decide soon after the arrival of Muhajirin to back Abu Bakr, carrying with him Abd Ashhal and perhaps the majority of Aus. So one of these Auses immediately come and bay'ah Usaid ibn Uzair and then bring his clan, the whole tribe. But this is the important one that Bashir, I said, among the Khazraj, Bashir ibn Sa'd, rival of Sa'd ibn Ubadah for the chieftainship, is said to have been his nephew, to first to break ranks with him and to support Abu Bakr. It is, however, most unlikely that he or those, whatever their lack of enthusiasm for Sa'd, would follow him, would follow Umar and physically attack him. So you see, during the whole mayhem of Bay'at, some people attacked physically Sa'd, which is sick. And it seems, Madalon, and if you read the sentences, Omar was involved, Omar encouraging it. But this wouldn't happen by Ansar. They didn't go that way to attacking one of their own. Even Abu Lahab, when the leader of the Bani Hashim, had to follow some of the prescribes or customs of tribe, supporting member of tribe. And then there is one event which kind of I tried to finish with this because it's a crucial event why Omar was able to work it out. Still, what we know doesn't work fully. There are three Muhajir, some of Ansar working with them. They talk with some of Aus members. They talk with Bashir al-Sad, which is a big prominent of Khazraj, and the fact he defied his uncle. All okay, it's produced something, but there is something more, and this something more shows completely his plan. Decisive for developments probably was, as Katani noted, the arrival during the meeting of Banu Islam. So when they're meeting a new tribe come in, so they were tipped off. The moment Omar was tipped off, moving toward here fast, maybe send somebody to those guys, come on. They come on, you need you. They came forward according to a report in full number. So contrary, there is no Muhajirin, contrary is no Imam Ali, contrary is not Bani Hashim, Salman, Abu Zar, Miqdad, none of these guys are here. But there is a tribe called Bani Aslam coming there, not 1, 2, 3 representative, full. And they're armed. I'm not sure you see armed. Full armed, suddenly off guard in the whole Medina. They come armed, fully crowding this Saqifa Bani Saida. There are 50 people sitting and suddenly 200 people come, overwhelming. Then they swear allegiance to Abu Bakr, and Omar used to say, swear allegiance to Abu Bakr. And Omar used to say, it was only when I saw the Aslam that I was certain of victory. So it is a coup. They bring a guard, military wing of Banu Aslam, off guarding the Khazraj and Aus, and then thinking about victory. If it is falta, if it's just accidental, what is about victory? Victory is the sense of a plan, and then we are planning coup, and then we can successful or not. The Banu Aslam, a branch of Khuzaa, which is a big other branch of Arab tribes, were known as enthusiastic supporters of Prophet Muhammad, who had rewarded them for their royalty by granting them the status of Muhajirin. So, okay, this is one feature of them. Irrespective whether they have performed the Hijjah to Medina or stayed on their own territory, they're living to outside Medina. A sizable number of them had come to dwell near Medina, ever ready to back the Prophet. They were known to be enemies of Ansar, and thus be counted upon to oppose sad aspiration to part. So historically, this Bani Aslam, before Islam, didn't like Ansar. And Abu Bakr has states and Omar outside, contact them, tip them off. How, if nobody knows, you guys are there, how Bani Aslam knows? Full number, armed, storming this place, So it acts a military wing for the Umar coup. It was evidently they who, by their large number, provided momentum to the Bay'ah of Abu Bakr. They suddenly come 200, 300 Bay'ah, so it's momentum start. Who readily responded to the signal of Umar to give the recalcitrant Sa'd ibn Ubadah and Malik. These are also the guys Umar was shouting, kill the Sa'd. Okay, means they want to trample him or somehow do that. After the general pledge of allegiance, Abu Bakr sent to Sa'd ibn Ubadah demanding that he although we read the detailed story, the Ansar protecting Sa'd ibn Ubadah doesn't let this many Aslam damage them and so on. They kind of notice what's happening. I think it was too late. Demanding that he do homage. Sa'd answered defiantly, no. So Abu Bakr demanded him, okay, now people are bayah with me. So Abu Bakr is not that also. I mean, reluctantly accepted. He's very ready for it. Sa'd answered defiantly, no, by God, I shall not pledge allegiance until I've shot every arrow in my quiver at you. And you is plural, means Umar and Abu Bakr. I fought you with those of my people and tribe who will follow me. So it's not any ijma, unanimous, no democracy. As Sa'd, the leader of Ansar, is not happy. And Bashir ibn Sa'd advised Abu Bakr not to press him since all of Khazraj Aus would stand solidarity with him before he killed. So Bashir ibn Sa'd said, okay, let's ignore him, because if we push it, things go unravel. And when Omar succeeded to the caliphate, he met Sa'd by chance and asked him whether he still held onto his opposition. 2 years later, again, Omar see him and ask him. His answer, yes, I do, since this matter. The Ryan has devolved on you. So this guy is a straight talker, yes. Even still I do, even now you have the caliphate. First was Abu Bakr, now you. Your companion by God was preferable. He told him, even your companion with Abu Bakr was preferable in our eyes to you. You are worse than him. And I have come to load your neighborhood. Omar suggested, okay, I think he talked to this way talking, although he sealed his fate too. He shouldn't talk like that. Omar suggested that he leave and sent went to Syria, where he died in Hawran, probably about 3-4 years later. After Omar get the caliphate, maybe 2 years after that. His grandson, Abd Allah ibn Sa'd, reported that jinn were heard chanting from a well that they had killed the Lord of Khazraj. Abdul did not speculate whether the jinn were acting at the behest of God or Umar. Sa'd ibn Ubadah's son, but his son, Bays ibn Sa'd ibn Ubadah, was to become one of the most loyal supporters of Imam Ali. Bays ibn Sa'd ibn Ubadah is a kind of maybe second to only Malik Ashtar for the commandership position and advised Imam Ali. And later on, when Malik was Shaheed at the time of Imam Hassan, Bays ibn Sa'd ibn Ubadah is the commander of the vanguard of the Imam Hassan's army, 12,000 people. So this son is important. That I will finish in 5 minutes. That many of the Ansar failed to pledge allegiance to Abu Bakr at the Saqifa meeting is affirmed at the end of the account of it by Kufa and Ibrahim an-Nakhai. So when they narrated this hadith of Ibn Abbas, Ibrahim an-Nakhai is a famous Kufan scholar, very respected among Sunnis, Nakha from the same tribe Malik Ashtar was, but died in the 1st century. He's a Tabi'in. He says, after mentioning the following Umar example, the people swore allegiance to Abu Bakr, he added, but the Ansar, some of them said, we will not swear allegiance to anyone but Ali. So some of them hold, and then some of them noticed was going out, now mentioning Ali, because they noticed maybe still that's the best outcome. Ibrahim an-Nakhi's however, some Western scholars says, no, this is made up of Shias, but then Madalung says, look, Ibrahim an-Nakhi has no Shian tendencies, is very well-known Sunni scholar, so this must be true. Whether the Ansar raised the name of Ali during the Saqifa meeting in response to Abu Bakr's bid for power must remain uncertain, though it's not unlikely that they did so soon after Abu Bakr. So whether the same meeting in Saqifa, they mention it, we have a report, it says the same meeting in Saqifa, they said, we are not going to bay'ah with you, we only bay'ah with Imam Ali. But even you dispute that, the one we are certain, a little bit later, Abu Bakr's elected the caliphs, they started mentioning Imam Ali. That's Omar was so sensitive when he hears somebody else talking about Imam Ali and I'm going bay'ah with him, the whole memory of what they did come to his mind, and he was worried the whole legitimacy of that being under question. That they did soon after Abu Bakr's succession is proven by some of the elegiac poetry of the Khazraj Ansari Hassan ibn Sabit. So we have evidence that they start to criticize Abu Bakr And then why we didn't choose Ali or mention Ali when Hassan ibn Sabit, the most famous, it was a poet of Prophet. This is the most famous poet of Ansar at that period. And then he, after death of Prophet, uh, uh, making some poems, reciting some poems, which Ibn Ishaq in the Sirah kept it, and these are all critical. In one of his elegies, Hassan ibn Sabit bitterly complained about the fate of Ansar and the Prophet's king after his death. So they know what happened. You know, they kind of they're neither here nor there. Uh, they did the wrong move. They become second-class citizen. They lose all the privileges or respect they have. They don't get any commanding or governorship position. And then he's complaining what happened to us after the Prophet. So then he says, vow to helpers, answers of the Prophet and his king after his absence in the midst of the grave. So he's saying like that after Prophet died, what happened to us? The land has become narrow for the answer. Narrow is a Quranic term, tang, hard, like the chest become hard. And their faces have turned black like the color of antimony, so we have given birth to him, and among us his tomb. They kind of claim that the Prophet Muhammad is our child, and we said it, his mother's side, his grandfather's side, giving birth to him, and his tomb, his burial place is among us. We have not denied the overflow of his bounty to us. We accept his blessing to us. But God has honored us through him, and through him has guided his answer every moment of witness. But okay, things are not good. The claim of Ansar to give given birth to Prophet Muhammad was based on the fact the wife of mother of Abd al was Salma bint Amr of Banu Najjar. They viewed the Prophet as his king, the Banu Abd al as belonging to them as much as to Quraysh. They had provided shelter to Prophet Muhammad on the basis of time. A few of them had become Muslims, but it could not be considered any other obligation to protect him. So the other Quraysh Muhajir who had no blood ties with them were given shelter merely as followers of Muhammad. So it was only natural the Ansar, in particular the Khazraj, should turn to Ali as soon as succession to Muhammad was proposed. So because on one other side, Ali is close to them too, is Bani Abdul Muttalib. So if the Bani Abdul Muttalib, they called this part Qurayshi, part of Ansari, and Imam Ali is from that branch and all that stuff. The face of Ansar and of the Prophet's king were thus in Hassan view blackened by the usurpation of their title to succession. And I think I stop here. I have some, yeah, I think time is good, and I think it's time right too. So I thank you for patience, and I will stop here and